Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Entitled People. We got a handful of Reddit posts to check out today, so be sure to like and subscribe and let's get into it. Stop bothering us with that deadline. We've got this. This story is somewhat fresh and I'm still smirking when I remember it, so I decided to share. Some background. I'm a 27-year-old female and I work in IT. I'm a well-respected and known member of the IT party circle where I live, so to speak. I'm not jaw-dropping, but people know me, and I have a very good reputation. One of the things is that I got to the point in my career when I wanted to give back, so I started mentoring others. Mostly I mentored adults, or those who were closer to me in age. Career advice, how to apply for different exchange programs that can boost their professional growth and improve their speaking and writing skills, the usual. But I always was one up for the challenge, and decided to try and mentor kids. It is not a secret that IT and STEM are increasingly popular right now, and more people want to get into the field. Therefore, there are myriads of boot camps, hackathons, and mentoring programs for all ages. So I signed up for one such program as a mentor. Teach kids how to code with blocks, tell them what AI is, and how to develop an MVP. It sounds more complicated than it might look at first glance, especially when you are an educated professional with a degree, explaining concepts that are rather complicated to children who may have less than 1/50th of your tech knowledge. I must add that participation in the said program gives kids credits, and can help them get into better schools or even be eligible for some university scholarships later in life. So only pros if you ask me. The only thing is that they must upload their MVP project to the site before the deadline. I was assigned 2 teams, primary, early middle schoolers Team A, and high schoolers Team B. Both had 5 members, and the youngest in Team A was 8 years old. I thought, oh my god, that will be tough. Thinking about Team A and how I am up for a tough time. Also, since they are so young, the parents of the kids must observe Team A meetings, and my lessons. And parents equal problems. Ironically, despite my worries, even with help from the parents, the kids in Team A were doing great. But the same can't be said about Team B. A little side note. With my mentees, I have 2 rules. 1. At least 1 meeting per week. At least 50% of the group must be present. 2. Communication. When I type something like tasks to do or reply to a question asked before, I ask my mentees to respond. Not even text. A thumbs up emoji will also suffice. We all know that red status doesn't mean much when you can accidentally open an app for a second and swipe it to clear RAM on the phone. So Team A attended all the meetings and responded to my assignments. There was a curriculum provided by a program to follow, and they were very receptive overall. Then Team B started okay, but then started not showing on meetings and leaving assignments read but unresponded. I understand they have a lot on their plate, exams are no joke, but they disregarded my time, which I will not be okay with. I have a job to do, and mentoring in that program was 100% volunteering, and there was no payment for the mentors. There was, however, a very strict deadline, the middle of April, when their MVPs must be loaded onto the website for later judgment. I, even when pissed, am a professional first, and an angry lady second. So I wrote multiple messages asking for updates on the project, with warnings at the end that deadline is April 15th, don't miss it. After one such message, the so-called leader of Team B, Sam, wrote to me this. Hi OP, I know that you probably mean well, but you only bother the team with those deadline messages. Can't you chill out? When we need you, we will contact you and all. Just get off our hair and let us do our job. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, it is what it is. After I read that message, I was like, what the hell? But I did respond that I would stop messaging if that caused tension within the team. Though the deadline is still on the 15th, and the site would reject any application that was uploaded after. Just stop, okay? Geez, said Sam to that. So I decided, okay, I'm washing my hands out of this. Since that message, I haven't written anything to Team B. I had scheduled no meetings, updates, or checkups about the curriculum and their understanding. And definitely not a written reminder of the deadline once. Deadline came. Team A uploaded their project with no issues. And their parents even bought me a nice box of chocolate as a thank you gesture. Just like the deadline came and went, Team B started bombarding chat, asking me to help because, quote, something is wrong with the site, we can't upload our project. I entered the chat and said, yes, it will not upload. No, it is not an issue with the site. The deadline has passed, so if you try to upload it will only show you an error message. I warned you, kids. No extra credits, no nothing. The rules of that program are simple, but they are hard no exceptions ones. Team B tried to blame me, saying that as a mentor, it was my job to ensure they would succeed. I reminded them that my job as a mentor is to provide support and guidance, keep track of their progress, and remind them of the deadline. Which all of the above, they via Sam asked me not to. And since I respected their boundaries, I did exactly what they had requested. They can sulk as much as they want. I have all our communication in writing, so they don't have a leg to stand on when trying to accuse me of sabotaging them in the program. Tough luck, kids. They really did shoot themselves in the foot there. Honestly, I don't know what else they expected. I think they must have assumed that they could get away with uploading it late, but despite that, they were warned many times. It is a bit satisfying though after they treated OP like that, and then spending all that time and effort working on that project thinking they're gonna get credits out of it, and leaving with nothing at all. Karen wants me to leave Waterpark because of my tattoos. So since it has finally started to warm up, me and some of my friends, all 19 to 22-year-olds, decided to go on a road trip. We decide that the appropriate thing to do is go to a water park and theme park that were right next to each other, and spend a few days out there for spring break. So we get the theme park out of the way first, and have a good time. Then a few days later, we head to the water park. So here's the thing. It's a water park, so obviously I'm gonna have my shirt off for a large amount of the time. I also happen to have a few tattoos. Not to the point where my whole body is essentially covered, but a good amount. I have one on my wrist that is barely even noticeable, which is some Japanese writing. The other one is on my other wrist, and it's kinda hard to explain, but it basically wraps around my wrist and has some lines coming out of it. It is way better than it sounds, I swear. Third and final one is the most noticeable, since it is a big back tattoo of a cross. Anyway, we get there and the first day goes well. It's a huge water park, so we obviously want to ride all of the slides. So I'm walking back to our table from the bathroom, and when I'm almost there, this lady, looking like she's in her mid-40s, walks up and stops me. I'm a bit confused, so I just wait a minute before just saying, "Yeah?" And she immediately says that she has kids here and she doesn't want to see that. So I don't know what she's referring to, and hoping nothing is sticking out of my shorts, she immediately points to one of my tattoos on my wrist. That. My tattoo? Is there anything wrong with it? Yes. This is a place for kids, and I don't want you influencing them to get one of these things. So I'm not really annoyed, just confused, since this is a place where 90% of the people have their shirts off, and at least a few of them will have a tattoo of some kind. So I tell her that this is a public place, and everyone has their shirt off. A good amount of them probably have tattoos. Of course, everything I'm saying in this isn't word for word since I can't remember every single word, but this is basically how it went. She completely ignores what I say and tells me to put my shirt on, which I obviously say no to. She tells me to put it on or she's gonna call security. I tell her to do it and she walks off. I go back to my table and sit down with my friends, and they were literally watching everything go down. And I'm a bit nervous since even though I know I wasn't in the wrong, I still didn't want to get in trouble with security. About 5 minutes later, when me and my friends go to another slide, she comes running up to us with the security guard behind her. She tells him that I wasn't supposed to have them out, and he was just as confused as I was, since he didn't see anything wrong, and she didn't say specifically it was the tattoos. He asks her what she's talking about, and she gets even more mad and points to one of my tattoos. Those! He asks her what's wrong with it, and she goes off on both of us saying how I shouldn't have those in a kid's place, and she doesn't want her kids seeing this. He apologizes for her and tells her to stop bothering me. She storms off and I continue with my trip with my friends. I saw her a few times again throughout the trip, but I don't think she saw me. Not all wheelchair users can walk. So I'm at a theme park and I'm a full-time wheelchair user who cannot walk or stand. I won't name the park as soon as management found out they were angry and more than rectified the situation. But the story is funny in my opinion. It happened a few years ago. So one of the rides is in a building and has an area outside the entrance for pushchairs, and those strollers people bring to theme parks that pull all their stuff, and older kids, etc., about to be left there as they aren't allowed in the building. My friend and I head to the entrance and this young employee comes to me and says, "You just leave your wheelchair there." I look at him, and my friend is about to say something and I catch their eye and wink. I wheel over to the area and sit there with my brakes on. My friend comes and stands next to me. The worker comes over and says, "You can go in now," seeing me not moving. I reply, "How? You told me to put my wheelchair here." Not seeing what is happening, he replies, "Yes, so you need to leave it here and then go in and get it after." I ask him how that'll work, and he sort of blinks at me, confused, then walks over to a guest who asks for help. Another worker, older, who has like team leader or supervisor type phrasing on his badge, comes over. The guy who told me to sit there is still talking to another guest, and the older worker comes over and asks if I'm okay. I explain that the guy had told me to sit here in my chair, and so I did, and then he told me to head into the ride, but leaving my chair here, and how I'm confused as I can't walk or stand. This worker is mortified, and tells me this is obviously not the park rules, and how no one is asked to leave their wheelchair there if they don't want to, and how I'm allowed in with my chair. The first worker comes over, and the supervisor or team leader asks him what he is on about, and how he can't tell wheelchair users to do this, etc. The younger guy said he was told to tell people they could leave their wheelchairs there, and we work out he has gotten his wires crossed, and that some people will ask if they can leave their wheelchairs there who are ambulatory, and use them for when they get tired, and that's fine, but not to tell everyone in a wheelchair to leave their chairs there. The guy realizes his mistake, and then realizes what I'd said about how am I meant to go in means I can't stand or walk, and what he has implied, etc., and is mortified, apologizing over and over. I explain how it's okay, and I'm glad he has realized what he said wasn't okay, but I can see how he got confused, and turns out he's very new. I head onto the ride, and as I exit, the supervisor comes over and refunds us our park entry tickets, and has food and shop vouchers for myself and my friend. I explain how they didn't need to do this, and how I'm just glad the new guy found out his misunderstanding with me, who found it funny and had a bit of fun, over someone else, could have been me on a different day, who took offense and got angry, etc. Which I guess is why I got the free stuff. Yeah, well, not really an entitled person encounter, but just someone who really didn't think this through, but I still thought it was funny enough to include it. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to drop a like, I'd really appreciate it, and even more so if you hit that subscribe button as well. So have an awesome day, everyone. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see you next time.